every second Wednesday, talking all things about our fine city with Mayor of our region, Mr. Matthew Dixon. Morning, Dicko. I hear you were at a bridge opening earlier on in the week or over the weekend.
Yeah, we had the Wellington pedestrian bridge opening. I can't believe how popular a bridge opening was. We had more than 100 people there, all gathered around.
Wow.
So we cut the ribbon on the bridge. Andrew G was there because the federal government gave us $738,000, which is absolutely fantastic. We walked across the bridge, but it's got some extra significance. One of our staff members, Ian McAllister, had the clever idea several months ago to just embed a coin in the bridge, in the concrete of the bridge, just below the surface, but you can still see it. And that was done to show the year the bridge was built. So it's got the Queen's face, it's got the year 2022 in a $1 coin. But of course, then the Queen passed away on Friday, the bridge opening was Saturday. Suddenly there were a lot of people talking about this coin. I actually think that will bring in a whole new level of excitement, not excitement, that's the wrong word, interest. A whole new level of interest because that coin suddenly has more significance. And I think you'll have actually people come along and want to find that coin because it's actually not obvious. It's buried in the concrete. You've got to go looking for it in the bridge. And then maybe have their photos taken with it or just a level of interest for any royal watchers out there. I think that'll be quite interesting.
And especially a coin with the Queen's head on it because they'll probably be relatively obsolete in the near future.
That's right. Once King Charles III's head starts being printed on coins, which I assume will start from probably next year sometime, then that will have significance. And maybe not this week or next month, but in years to come, I think people want to come along and they'll have a look at that. And that bridge, if you ever look at that bridge, it's built for a long time. It looks like a mini harbour bridge, a 41.5 metre span across the water, across the Bell River, 48 metre entrances on there because it's all to the correct grade for disabled access. So that bridge is going to be around for decades to come. So I think that'll always have that little bit of extra significance now.
Now, speaking of the Queen's head on a coin, the Queen's holiday coming up next week, and isn't there a council meeting on that day?
It does throw in a little bit of extra complication. So next Thursday is our next scheduled ordinary council meeting. Now, we set the dates for council meetings by council resolution. Last December, we set the dates for the next 2 years going through to September next year. And so that's a council resolution. And just because there's suddenly a holiday declared, we can't just simply say, well, we have a holiday now, we'll just change the date. We've got to have a new council resolution. But because it's so soon, we don't have a council meeting set to happen before next Thursday to do that. So we're actually having to hold an extraordinary council meeting tomorrow night with one topic on the agenda, and that is to change the date for the meeting for next Thursday for our ordinary meeting of council. So it's a whole range of things there. And obviously when Anthony Albanese declared a holiday, there were always going to be difficulties with whatever date was nominated because things are happening, communities moving on and doing things. So there's always going to be issues with whatever day things were declared, but it does throw a little bit of extra significance into that particular day from a council perspective.
We'll watch this space and see what comes up with that. Now, I do have a bit of a harder question for you, Matthew. We've got, if anyone who's been down Macquarie Street lately, and we've had a lot of people call up the station about this, we've got a number of people who seem to be residing in the street on a full-time basis. Is there anything that council or the local people can get involved with to kind of help combat this? Because we seem to have a lot of extra people living on the street in Macquarie Street.
Yeah, you are absolutely spot on. It is an issue. We've been aware of this issue for many months now. We've met with the local Chamber of Commerce because it is impacting businesses. We've met with the local police superintendent, Denny Sullivan's been fantastic in meeting with us. We've met with Dougal Saunders, our state member. And the issue there is a couple of things are feeding into it. The first thing is affordable housing is an issue. Houses are becoming more and more expensive. You only have to look at the house prices. It's gone up by 24.6%, the median house price in the last year. That's an incredible increase. And then rents, depending on what number of bedrooms you have in a house, rentals have gone up anywhere up to 11.2% over the last year. So it is getting harder for people to find somewhere to live. So there is an increase in the number of people who aren't living in a house and are living out on the streets, living rough. And that's not just Dubbo. I'm in Canberra at the moment, and last night I went out and certainly saw people living on the streets in Canberra. It's a problem that's happening across the state and I dare say across the nation. The big issue is that police don't have the power to move people on just for being out on the street. They used to have some move-on powers. Those powers have certainly been reduced dramatically. They've got to be committing a crime. So if they, sometimes we've seen this happen where they might stand up and start urinating out on the street, then they're committing a crime, then the police can do something with them. But if they're just laying in the street, minding their own business, it's not a good look for Dubbo, but there's nothing they're doing that's illegal or wrong, then the police are powerless to do something about it. What I say to everyone is if you do see them committing a crime, if you do see them doing something wrong, then certainly report it to the police so the police can take some action. But there's not a lot we can do. I mean, Dougal Saunders has been talking about just what can be done in terms of housing availability, and this is in terms of community housing, affordable housing, Department of Housing vacancies in there, but there are long wait lists for that type of community housing as well. So there is no easy solution. It is a problem. It is impacting businesses. It's not a great look for people down the main street, but there's nothing specific that certainly council can do to address that issue in particular.
I've definitely seen them urinating and defecating down the main street, I can tell you that now. But, a move along water isn't necessarily helpful for them either. It just pushes the problem somewhere else. It's no easy solution. But I guess as long as council and people are aware of it, that we can start working towards some kind of a resolution and maybe getting those people in some kind of accommodation is probably where we could start.
Yeah, and there's the Church Street flats. So there's on the corner of Brisbane Street and Church Street, you've got apartments there, and they're owned by the Department of Housing, owned by the state government, and that has been somewhat of a central point for people that have been living rough because it's public housing in there. But then what we've found from investigations that we've done is that there are not just the people living in the apartments there are many other people living there in stairwells, in any areas that might be downstairs, out in the little back area there. So I know the Department of Housing is doing a fair bit of work in increasing the security there, putting additional security cameras. They're actually spending money on doing it up and making it easier for people to protect their own homes, because some people that live there, they have the same problem as well. They've actually got somewhere to live, but then they've got all these other people that are living in the stairwells as they're trying to come down the stairs. So that is an area there. And we have suggested, although we can't make it happen, that the Department of Housing would be better off selling that, having that as a private rental, have some developer come along and buy that, and distributing those people that are there into various houses throughout the community rather than have them all in one spot, because it seems to generate more social poor behaviour by having a lot of people that are living in the same circumstances there together. But the Department of Housing has said it's so hard to get housing at the moment in Dubbo, it's so expensive, they don't want to sell that where they've got a number of units that they can house their people. So it is an ongoing problem and no easy solution for it. And again, you're seeing these a lack of housing, lack of affordable housing in particular in Dubbo and across the state. I go to a regular meeting of a group called Regional Cities New South Wales. We have 16 cities, inland cities, regional cities in that group. And this is the number one problem we talk about, that lack of housing, people not being able to get housing, can't live in their community, where can they live, living on the streets, under bridges, etc. So it's a problem, and I don't have an easy solution for you, sorry.
Yeah. All I can say is I'm glad I'm not in your position. Because it's a problem I don't know if I'd want to deal with. But, well, I know it's a problem, and best of luck with it moving forward. Looking forward to see how it all goes through, but we'll let you get back to your busy day there in Canberra.
Thank you. Good to chat.